muted.
Yeah, the July meeting of the Middlebury Redevelopment Commission will come to order, or according to the agenda, the meeting is open. Roll call, Don Schuler and Mike Holloway are absent. Everybody else is present. The minutes from the June 19th meeting need to be approved, disapproved, amended, and/or corrected.
I'll motion that we approve the minutes from the June 19th, 2025 Redevelopment Commission meeting be accepted and approved as presented.
I second it.
John seconded. Any discussion concerning that? Apparently there is none. So all those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
That would be aye. Okay. Anybody have public comments? Yes, ma'am. I hope your comments are pertaining to the agenda. Is that correct?
Agenda?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you for
Oh.
giving us an opportunity to actually be able to hear well. New setup. It's nice that you're projecting. So thank you. The other thing that I want is when can the public have the ability to know what is. So this we would appreciate. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you going to speak while you're standing there, ma'am? Kaylee? Oh, well, you were at the microphone. Okay. Do we have to start over, or are we okay? No. We know she spoke, and she knew she spoke. I'd attest that she said, well, kind of.
The one to like do all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm still trying to get it.
Well, I think we ought to carry on then.
I've got what she said.
Okay. All right. That's okay. Okay. Old business. The real estate purchase agreement with BFB Partner Group. Do we say that's AKA Schrock Homes, or don't we say that? That's
It's a
what
different
people
company.
I know, but
Then
it's okay to say that or not. He doesn't care. But do you?
they're different legal entities. So
Oh, well, you know how.
it's important to me.
Very good. Thank you. That's good. Anyway, the real estate agreement with BFB Partner Group, we need to address. And actually, it's something that we approved in a sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, we will approve or disapprove this agreement. And the development agreement will be later. Jackson's going to present those two items.
Sure. So in your agenda should have been also circulated the real estate purchase agreement in the draft form that we had also sent to BFB for their review and approval. They have signed it and returned it this morning. So they've signed that real estate agreement. Did you have any questions at this time? It's relatively standard real estate purchase agreement, other than it's got additional things related to governmental transfers, and also the fact that one of the things it says we need to get figured out by closing is that development agreement. So the basic outline is that we're likely anticipating a September closing, potentially earlier if we want to meet, depending on our meeting schedule. The main thing on our end, once we're under contract, they've been doing some of their due diligence already, and they can continue to do that while it's under contract. And we'll also, during that period, work on the development agreement. The BFB did just ask if they could put up a sign once we're under contract at the site. I told them I'd ask you guys if you had any thoughts on that.
Is there any protocol that we need to be aware of?
I guess is there a sign ordinance, as long as it complies with that.
Does that have to be part of the agreement?
I don't think so, as long as we're okay with that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, were you finished?
I guess, yeah, any comments or questions on the agreement? Or
Page 7 talks about possession, closing and possession.
Huh.
Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, will that give us enough time? I assume it gives us enough time to move personal property out of the Quonset building, or do we need to renegotiate for a possession of the contents inside that Quonset building? Do we know where we're gonna go with that personal property? Okay. So we can have everything out by September 30th? And if we close earlier, is possession earlier too then? And
If
It's
we're
as of closing is how it's written currently.
yeah, right. So if we close earlier, we gotta make sure everything's out of there.
And, yeah.
Okay. The other question I had on page 2, and I wish Don Schuler was here, because we had the conversation. I see where we reserve the right relating to item number 4, any restrictive covenants. If you remember, I had brought up that it would be nice if we could, as a body, impose restrictive deed restrictions, possibly for either body modification or controlled substances. And Don felt that as a government entity, we shouldn't limit use or limit, but I mean, government does that all the time through zoning ordinances, building codes, those kinds of things. I guess my concern would be is for Schrock or for BFB, that if they put a restriction on there that, only people that drive trucks can buy these, or people that are left-handed can buy these, are we gonna step in and say, whoa, hold on a second, you can't have that restriction on yours? So I guess I just want to clarify that we're not going to come back and change something if they decide to put a restrictive covenant on that we don't particularly care for. I mean, basically that's saying, we're saying we reserve the right to review any restrictive covenants. But I thought the discussion was.
What section are you referring to?
Page 2, item number 4.
any restrictive covenants on use, affordability.
That is,
project.
those are things, that's sort of a list of topics that the development agreement can address. And the idea being, these would be in favor or subject to enforcement by the Redevelopment Commission.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is, I don't want them to put a restrictive covenant on there, say,
right.
hey, only people who drive trucks can buy these.
Yeah,
products. So
I
in
would
other
think
words-
normally this would be the Redevelopment Commission putting restrictive covenants on the property.
So like body modification or controlled substance, those kinds of things.
For this, it was more along the lines, I mean, you could extend to use of property. The idea was more just that agreement's going to set out their obligations for the development, as we've discussed and as they presented, and then those restricted covenants will be part of that, and they'll probably expire once the project is done. There might be some that linger depending on how you want to structure the development agreement, but yeah, it's meant to be broad for us to discuss the.
Okay. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't know if BFB plans on putting any restrictive covenants on there anyway right now, but I guess technically if there's going to be like a condo association, maybe there'll be something along the standard covenants, but.
Those would be restricting covenants in the end, would be if you had condo restrictions.
Right,
Yeah, and
but
that-
I guess what I'm saying is, we talked about doing something and it was kind of shot down. But again, if they put something on it that we're not in favor of, we reserve the right to come back and say, well, now you've gone too far. I guess I want to know where we stand on
As
it.
far as that goes, assuming like once we transfer the property and the development is done and we're no longer involved, they can do, it's just they own the property.
Restrictions before the development.
We could definitely, probably put that
If-
in there, just a right of review or something.
So,
but-
right, so that way we don't come back and say, whoops, wait a second, we don't agree with, if it's possible to.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
But so then you want to be able to do that on this property only because we were involved in this property. Now, all the rest of the property in Middlebury would not have that at all.
Correct, it'd be just for this. But again, I think we have the responsibility and the duty to protect our town, to protect our citizens. You know, and again, I know this is hypotheticals, and we could talk hypotheticals all day, but let's say 50 years down the road, you know, somebody buys up the south part of the dwellings and replats it and opens up a body modification shop or a control, you know, let's say Indiana becomes a marijuana state.
Why don't
and
we just do a tattoo parlor?
That's what body modification is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I'm seeing.
You're not
Tattoos-
talking about automobiles?
Well, again, I know we could talk hypotheticals. I just wanted to bring
right.
it. If we were gonna do something, now would be the time to do it. But again, I just think if I live there, if I buy one of those, I don't want a body modification or a controlled substance shop, you know, next to me. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but anyways, obviously, again, I didn't want us to come back and say, well, hold on a second, you know, you guys can't do that restriction, or you can't do that, you know, that
Well, see,
limitation on the property, so. I just wanted clarification, because as I was reading through it, I noticed we reserve that right. But again, if we could see the restrictive covenants, I guess, if anybody has any issues, that would be the time to address it, I guess.
anything else? Mr. Anderson? You can speak. You can't vote, but you may speak.
I know, no, it's good to go.
Okay.
I will say, I did get an updated site plan from BFB, since, you know, they had their preliminary drawings, and then you get more detailed in the engineering. So I wanted to pass this around, and you can compare it to the old one if you want to take a look. But
Just a question. Since we're talking about putting a sign up, is it public then what the development is brought up? Is it public what the actual proposal is? Or is that not public?
yeah, that information's public
It
and
is.
available for inspection.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
And where would the public go to see that?
Town offices,
Okay, very good, thank you.
yeah.
Sorry. I think it's like that.
It's the same number of units,
It's a couple less.
right? Two less?
Yeah.
And that's all right, you know, crowding bother, but it's one of the things that would bother me or does bother me. That's one of the things that's always come up when somebody came to the council, or even when somebody came to the council, was always, how many people are you gonna put in this box? You know, and what's it gonna look like when the box is full? And how many cars are gonna be around the box? And how many, yeah. So, yeah.
I guess you guys wanna have some say on what that future could be as far as on that proposal right there? Cause there's a future, you guys want to say on that or not?
What do you mean?
In the agreement?
That one right there.
Oh,
Is it
yeah, so that'd be like a public something, just whether that be, yeah, sauna or whatever. Or,
Outdoor city.
But it's
I
not
mean-
residential or commercial?
No.
Okay.
it would be, yeah, an
that-
additional
that
amenity
would-
for the residential.
Do you know what type of zoning you're planning?
Not yet.
Like I assume some sort of a PUD or, okay.
And those restrictions would be there just from the zoning restrictions, of course. But that doesn't affect what you were saying.
Right.
Right. But they don't affect that, yeah. Right.
I just know that if I want to buy one of those at some point, at this point, I do not have any future interest in this project. If I would to buy one, I wouldn't want a business of those natures to be right next door to me, so. And I'm sure a lot of residents would not want that.
Yeah, and they want their residents to be happy, so I'm guessing that interests are aligned on that. But
Any other discussion?
any other questions on the redevelopment or the purchase agreement?
Do You want a motion to
Yeah,
accept
we need to make a motion on the, just on the purchase agreement.
just on the purchase agreement? I'll make a motion that we approve the real estate purchase agreement with BFB Partners Group as presented.
Second.
In a second, a motion and a second. I think we already had our discussion. Is there any more? If not, all those in favor of approving the purchase agreement with BFP, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now, development agreement. You want to speak more to that, or?
I can talk a little bit on it. I think it would be helpful maybe to have just an executive session between us to just really nail down what kind of provisions we want to see in there. Do we want to propose specific, and this is getting to,
Well, but we won't be
just-
able to propose them until we have a meeting then.
right, we wouldn't adopt a
Yeah.
form of agreement till
Okay.
a public meeting, but
Which was.
it gets
what
into
you-
sensitive
and
contracting
that's-
topics like
yeah.
liquidated damages. How do you want to enforce it? How do you want to, do you want any of those restricted covenants? And then once we have that form of agreement, that'll be a public record available for everybody to see. But it gives a little more time to flesh it out.
That's what you wanted to do today that Chuck didn't want to do, right? The executive session.
That was actually for
Oh, okay.
other things, so. But we could do both of them at the same time if we
Okay.
want to have one,
All right.
so.
I'm sorry, point of order. I just, I knew I had read it somewhere in the, correct, Jackson, correct me if I'm wrong, in the purchase agreement, it talked about 18 to 19 townhouses, but now they're doing 2. Do we need to modify that to
Right.
say that it's amended?
So the agreement and the development agreement in particular, it has baked in the concept that these are preliminary plans. As things
Okay.
get more defined and more fully engineered, there will be changes.
Okay.
As long as it's sort of a substantially the same as the proposal and
Okay.
concept.
Okay.
Now, it's always going to be a bit of a gray area on how much change is too much change, but, you know, as they do site inspections and things just don't work out, you know, things look like they could work, but once you get familiar with the facts on the ground, actually, we can't, you know, put X and Y here because of these conditions or something like that. So
Thank you.
there's some flexibility built in, yeah. Let's see, the development agreement.
Yes.
I've got a general form that we can work off of that I've put together. And it's really just some of those other questions that I would want to get input from the council on, or the commission on. And then potentially, we could have a back and forth then with the BFB group to see what they would be acceptable and how they think would be a fair way to enforce everything and discuss that. So, yeah, my recommendation would to do an executive session on this, and maybe if there's other items that need to be discussed. As long as
Any August meeting would be soon enough to do that.
Potentially, like an August executive session or just
Yeah.
August? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I am going to be going on vacation next week, so not next week.
Not next. Okay.
So at
You mean like before or something?
I'll be absent.
Yeah, John will be.
Or do you want it before that date?
I mean, whatever works for you guys. I would want it to be before the public meeting sometime, whether that's immediately before
So
or whether
immediately
that's.
is all right.
I think so. I mean, it would be nice to have that executive session and then to be able to provide developer with the chance for input before the public meeting. And if we need to delay it then to the September meeting, we can.
So he tends to feel that we should have a meeting before the meeting. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're, when,
You're not.
can we ask when you're gonna go out of town?
Yeah, I'll be out the basically the week before and a week after Labor Day. But I could be a part of the executive if you have it earlier.
Mhm.
If it's
Yeah.
earlier in August.
how to try to coordinate everybody's.
Okay. it has to meet Jackson's schedule too.
Because Don is also, Schuler is also gonna be water on
When does that start? When is that?
Yeah.
13th? So if we want to have it early in the morning, we better have to do it before that.
Whatever works for
That's all right.
You have vacation, I got vacation, other than that, I'm open.
Check with Don Schuler, for one thing. I think Gary and I are pretty open, kind of.
Could you forward the boilerplate to us, so at least we have,
Yeah, I'll circulate that.
Okay. New business? None. Next meeting is August 28th, 8:15 at the town hall. And we will probably have an executive session before that. We are adjourned. My wife will be happy.